I think, is at a kind of crossroads. We've made remarkable progress since 1999 with the Treaty of Amsterdam, when we were first given the legal base to take action to combat discrimination on LGBT and other grounds. But there is now a block on a final directive on non-discrimination on access to goods and services, and that's being blocked by the Member States in Council. The Parliament's committed, but the Member States aren't.
Despite similar top-down pressure, however, the legal situation for LGBT people in the EU differs markedly from Member State to Member State in terms of the type and the extent of rights accorded, or indeed whether rights have been accorded at all. And this is clear if we look at ILGA Europe's rainbow map. Hungary and Croatia outperform Austria, Switzerland, Finland and Ireland, while the legal situation for LGBT individuals in the Czech Republic, Slovenia and Albania is judged to be better than in Greece and Italy.
These debates here at Europe House are extremely important, not the least because in the United Kingdom we probably have one of the most Eurosceptic, Europhobic misinformation machines in the whole of the European Union. So it's vital that people get access direct to politicians, to other experts, to people like Sir Stephen Wall, who was our EU ambassador, was there in the hothouse of number 10.
I came because I spent my career as a European diplomat, and this is a big European issue. I came also for personal reasons. I was 5 years the UK permanent representative in Brussels, and at that time, although I knew myself that I was gay, I was in the closet. I didn't dare come out of the closet. I have since then come out openly as a gay man, and I feel that LGBT rights in the European Union themselves are very important. And also I think the European Union has certain values and has influence in the world through its aid agreements, its trade agreements, and we owe it to LGBT people around the world to try and use our influence to improve their lot where it needs to be improved.
With regards to visibility then, do you think that EU politicians, and I'd be interested in hearing your take on this, Michael, have a public duty to come out?
I think all politicians have a duty to come out. The court said there's no scientific evidence suggesting that the mere mention of homosexuality or open public debate about sexual minorities' social status would adversely affect children. Okay, because that's the Russian government's justification. The way I would put it is they're viewing being LGBT as some kind of contagious disability. So we can challenge both parts of that.
Projektu ustawy o uzgodnieniu płci są zgodne ze stanowiskiem Parlamentu Europejskiego wyrażonym w rezolucji. Chodzi przecież o poszanowanie praw człowieka, o respekt.
Russia doesn't want to know. Russia wants LGBTs to be invisible. Go to your clubs at night, that's fine, but we don't want to see you in daytime in the street. So in that climate, if you start talking about marriage, it'll just make things worse.
And Anna, are there anything that is being done in Polish schools to promote and integrate LGBTIQ lives?
Bardzo często. Ja chcę powiedzieć, że dla przykładu
especially non-governmental organizations are trying to get to schools in order to provide free of charge training that concern tolerance and knowledge about LGBT.
I say this from a sort of parochial perspective. I think it is actually important to demonstrate to our partners that appearances sometimes to the contrary, Britain still is an active, a proactive and serious member of the European Union. We do take our membership seriously, and I think that although our own record is on many issues is far from perfect, we do have something to say on this issue. This government, a Conservative-led government, has done a rather surprising thing in campaigning for and successfully legislating for gay marriage.
I'm coming from Greece, and as you know, homosexuality was very well accepted 25 centuries ago. We're claiming also the first lesbian, Sappho, who born in the island of Lesbos. Despite that, the violation of the human rights of lesbian and gay people in my country, it's awful.
That is when a member state is obliged to transpose the law into the EU directive, into national law, and the transposition is supposed to be compliant often the transposition, not often, but sometimes the transposition isn't undertaken or the law is not implemented. And I know we have problems with Greece on this and Poland.
The one thing I learnt since enlargement from 15 to 27 and now 28 is that you have to repeat the battle for women's rights, let alone LGBT rights, every single day. And that has to be done nationally, not only at EU level, but knocking heads together is what you have to do in politics, giving a voice to those who would be silenced, a voice to those who are voiceless. That's what you have to do until the cacophony is heard.
I think the cultural differences will disappear, well, not diminish at least, not necessarily disappear, with the influence of EU law. But the great thing about EU law is that it requires us to do things we don't want to do. And hopefully, if you change the law, then you change public attitudes. That's certainly what's happened in Britain over race relations, for example.
18 do 174.
I would like to add that today the Polish Parliament voted during the first reading of the draft Gender Recognition Act, and it passed the first reading and it goes to the second reading.
Thank you very much.
There's such a range of opposition, some of it deeply cultural, that surely you're going to struggle with.
For me, Europe is a single market with a single set of fundamental values, born out of the ashes of the Second World War, that no matter how difficult, we would not stop defending someone because of their difference or a group because of their difference. But it's because it's difficult, we decide to do it, and we will win.
So Stephen put it absolutely right. Europe, as never before, as a rights-based concept, is under the greatest threat. And that threat will expose itself at the next European elections. And why do I say that? Because Europe isn't just a single market. Europe isn't just a group of countries that agree to cede certain powers to get a better deal than they would otherwise get if they were negotiating alone. Europe, I believe, was born out of the ashes of the Second World War. The ashes from crematoria, the ashes from people's hopes, people's dreams, and a determination that that which happens to the other should be taken and experienced as if it was happening to us. And if we didn't want it to happen to us, we should never allow it to happen to another.